In 1955, I was at the Texas Open golf tournament in San Antonio, walking on my way to someplace, when I heard a booming voice. "Hey kid, they got any cold beer around here?" I stopped and looked about. There were lots of people milling, but none of them were paying attention to me, so I thought it must be an aberration. "Hey feller, I'm up here," the voice bellowed. I was standing beside a ladder that climbed straight up, about 10 feet to a platform, where I saw an arm wildly waving at me. "Think you can find a couple of cold ones somewhere?" The arm belonged to Dizzy Dean, and I recognized his beaming face right off. He played for several teams, including the St. Louis Cardinals, and was the last pitcher in the National League to win 30 games in one season. He was one of my all-time favorite baseball heroes, along with the ageless Satchel Paige, who famously said, "How old would I be if I didn't know how old I was?" About 10 minutes later, I climbed the ladder holding a 6-pack of Jack's beer and a Dr. Pepper. My cost was almost $2, but I didn't care because this was Dizzy Dean. I was thrilled, even more than when I shook hands with Sammy Ball. Dizzy was commentating on the radio between sips and talking with me during commercials and more sips. It was Sunday afternoon, and as the tournament wound down, Dizzy finished off the last Jacks, and my bottle of soda was almost done. We said our goodbyes, and I climbed down the ladder, expecting to see a bunch of photographers recording me and Dizzy. There weren't any, but it was an experience I've enjoyed for the last 63 years. A personal note: I've been criticized for the way I write and use words. I say I too much, mix verb tenses, use commas wrong, and I can't spell. I just read through my story above about Dizzy Dean and removed all of the commas. I feel so good, I just may go get myself another Dr. Pepper. Forrest. Athletic Addie. Addie Flyshaker was athletic, or at least she used to be. At a decade or so past middle age, her physical prowess, when I knew her, was mostly used up on the golf course. She was part of the Singer Flyshaker Oil Company in Oklahoma City, and a very good friend and an art client of mine. I saw her as a quiet and reserved person who liked to seclude in the background. We didn't communicate much, but I considered her to be a very good friend, so when I heard through the grapevine that she was going into the hospital for a very serious backbone operation, I was understandably distressed. Without saying anything to Addie, I went into my private collection of prehistoric Zuni fetishes. There were a few that fit the description of what I needed: a stone bear or a mountain lion fetish with an elongated back. I wrapped it carefully, and I put it in a box with a note. "Addie, I hear you are going under the knife for a bone fusion. If it were anyone but you, I'd be worried. I'll throw in some powerful medicine to help you. This is a back fetish. Please keep it in your hand during the operation. It will work for you if you have faith. I will be with you in my prayers. Good luck. Forrest." P.S. It is important that you have faith. Addie was quiet. I didn't hear anything from her for a long time. No news was out there anywhere. Then I received a letter. "Forrest, not only am I playing golf with the girls again, but today I made a birdie on the 4th hole. That never happened to me before. I want you to know that I went into the operation with your fetish in my left hand. I had the nurse tape it closed so it couldn't fall out when I was asleep. I had faith in it, and the doctor said it probably helped me. I owe you a boa hug. P.S. I really did have faith in the fetish. Addie. Don't you just love stories that have a happy ending? Forrest. And then there was this Rondo guy. His name is probably descriptive enough to tell you something about his personality. It was for me. He had a little one-room shop in a nowhere location. It was known best for trying to sell antiques that no one wanted to buy. I didn't know the guy, but when I accidentally happened in his place one day, he recognized me, said, "Hey dude, I'll flip you one time for a C note." I said, "What?" He repeated, "You know, we flip a coin one time and the winner takes home a picture of Benjamin Franklin." I figured this guy was way too cool for me, but I was intrigued. The odds were 50-50, so what did I have to lose? "Okay," I said, but only one flip. So he flipped a dime and I lost $100. Now I was mad and departed his place, trying to figure out how the guy had cheated me. Maybe his nose ring had something to do with it. Revenge was festering inside of me when I came up with a plan. I was going to rearrange his karma, and I was going to do it by being positive and making him be negative. I had never tried this idea before, but since our personalities were so diabolically opposed, maybe it would work. The next day I went back, and he saw me coming. His toothy mouth said something like, "Hey, duty, not had enough yet, eh? Hope you brought another picture with you." I was ready for him. "Sure," I said. "Here's a quarter. You flip it." That's number 1. It was my quarter, so I was making the rules. Number 2, I instructed him to flip it, so again, I was the positive one, so he had to be negative. "But wait," I said, "I'm not ready." That's number 3. I was making him follow my instructions. He was subservient to me. I closed my eyes, told myself it was going to be heads. It was going to be heads. That's number 4. I was using the power of positive thinking against him. "Okay, flip it, and I'll call it." That's number 5 and 6. I was totally in charge of what was happening. He flipped it and I yelled heads. That's number 7. Heads is positive and tails is negative. It fell heads and I went home with his picture of Franklin. I was feeling good. These quick flipping episodes became rituals, and they continued every several days for a few months, with me having a small edge. I was keeping notes at home. I wasn't really happy with the way it was going, though. I needed a little something more. Then I found a buffalo nickel in one of Rondo's parking spots. Wow, I thought. This could not be an aberration. The fates were helping me. The Indian whose image is on the buffalo nickel is Irontail, one of my favorite Oglalas. I have some photos of him. The buffalo on the obverse is my favorite animal. It is my birth date nickel, dated 1930. It was a triple whammy. I was now going to show that Rondo guy which one of us was a duty and which one of us wasn't one. I had him continue to flip, but with my new birthday nickel. I now had a distinct positive advantage. The contest continued, but now it wasn't just about money. In 68 flips, I won 45 times. That's 67%. So don't talk to me about odds when karma enters the picture. The last time I went to see Rondo, he was gone. Sign was down and the windows were boarded up. I don't know what happened to him, and I don't even know his last name. But if he ever calls me and needs a C-note, I'll be happy to give him a presidential portrait. P.S. My birth year Buffalo nickel is now retired to a special place. It's resting beside the golf ball with which I made a hole-in-one on the 4th hole with a 7-iron. Sometimes you have to give credit where it's due, and it helps keep my karma on straight. Forrest.